Discover how to uplift your community with joyful gifts in today's episode with Jordan Buckner. And Jordan Buckner is the founder of Food Bevy and Joyful Company. And he's a successful food business founder. And what's so special about him is that he will tell us all about how he got into this particular business where he is uplifting communities with joyful gifts. So the first question I have is, what's the secret to your success? And tell us about how did you start sharing the joy of giving?
Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu. Mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
Thanks so much, Lily. So I started Joyful Co. really to help people give thoughtful, meaningful gifts in a way that spreads joy, both for the people receiving the gift and the person actually giving it. And I think it's really important that in our community and our relationships that we really let other people know, how much we care about them. And a simple act and a simple gesture of sharing a gift really goes a long way. As part of that, it's really our mission to source products from underrepresented and women-owned businesses. And this allows us to find really unique, diverse products that aren't just your typical items that you find in the store or in the grocery store. And what that results in are more thoughtful gifts that people received. And got into this because I've always been kind of in the food industry and the consumer packaged goods industry, connect with lots of founders, and have been able to find a ton of different businesses who are really amazing, have great stories, have great people behind them, have really great products, and I'm able to really help them, elevate them, and get their products in front of a much wider audience. And it's really made an impact in both the suppliers and the businesses that we work with, and then also for our customers being able to send something meaningful to people they care about.
Thank you. Tell us about why entrepreneurs would benefit from sharing some of your thoughtful gifts to their communities.
Yeah, so we work with both customers sending an individual gift to a friend, family member, employee, and also corporations. And just as one example, one of our largest corporate client, they actually send a gift to all their employees once a quarter. And each quarter it's focused on celebrating and discovering brands from different cultures around the country and elevating small businesses. And for them, it's a way of connecting their employees with their larger mission, which is around supporting small businesses. It helps the companies feel, or the employees feel connected back to the company. They're mostly a remote workforce. And so it allows and fosters that sense of community, conversation, and engagement, and helps them to then have that better relationship back with the company.
Thank you. Now, I noticed a lot of your gifts have a name, and I found that quite interesting because I think most of the gifts online, they don't tend to have a name. So tell us more about that, like the impact of that. For example, when you're gifting someone the joyful box or I can't remember the other ones, but basically the coffee lover.
Like a recharge box or...
Yeah.
So it was important for us to really understand, why people are giving gifts in the first place. And it's really to, one, help that person feel thought of. But when selecting a gift, they're like, I want to give something that they'll enjoy, but it's usually also associated with a emotion, a feeling that they want them to have. And so, for instance, our recharge box is full of items to help you relax, recover, items like tea, that we have included within there, these really luxurious pistachio cherry cookies, and lavender hand soap, all to kind of rejuvenate. And so if you want to help someone feel relaxed and recharged, you can send them our recharge box.
Thank you. Now, There's a lot of studies that show the impact of particular words on the energy that you're kind of creating for yourself and the people around you. Was there a deciding factor in terms of choosing those particular words? For example, the joyful box, the, I don't know, the detox box, the coffee lovers box. Because, for example, when you say positive words that are empowering words, they tend to have an impact on how positive you feel and how relaxed, how empowered you feel as well. And when you say negative words, that could also have a negative impact on, of course, like nobody's going to gift a negative gift to anyone. But I'm wondering about, how did you specifically choose those particular names? And do you find there's an energy that gets created from gifting, for example, the joyful box to a particular, I don't know, employee or to a group of employees? So, and do you find that there's a different kind of energy that gets created when you're gifting someone, I know, the coffee lover box or something else?
100%. I think that, as you mentioned, the words that we use, the names that we use are really powerful, and it helps to transfer and convey that energy onto someone else. And so, for instance, we have a grateful box, and it's really to set with, you want to share and let someone know that you're very thankful for something that they did. Now, we could just call that a thank you gift box, and that's a little bit more slightly positive, but doesn't have that same energy to say, really, like, I'm really grateful for your help with X, Y, and Z, or through this year, and I want to share something that is a symbol of our gratitude. Or we also have, someone's maybe sick or getting over something that's not so good. You might send someone like a get well soon gift box, and some companies call them that. But if we're sending, for instance, like our recharge box, then yes, it does acknowledge that there's something that may have happened, but it's giving them that moment of positivity to say, yes, let me recharge, let me relax, let me take a second to get back to my pace of positivity, versus something like just a get well soon box, which is a little bit more generic, a little bit more of a reminder of something negative that happened. And so I think that the words that we use and our names for our gift boxes are they're very specific, and we consciously do that to spread that positivity and the joy.
Thank you. Tell us more about your story and the journey of how you kind of started doing this, and what was like the main reason behind that?
So I have to say, throughout most of my life, I was actually a pretty terrible gift giver. And when I met my wife, she was an amazing gift giver, was very thoughtful, understanding both the quality, but then also the types of products and goods that people wanted. And so part of us, we actually came together. She curated all of the gift boxes and all the items within there. And through that process, I've become a better gifter as well. So now, our boxes are perfect for anyone who maybe loves sending gifts and is just looking for something that's a little bit more convenient, but still high quality to send. And for people who maybe are not so great at gifts. So like myself, I remember one time we went to a friend's birthday party, and we were in our 20s, and they're like, "Oh, did you bring them a gift?" I'm like, people still bring gifts? Like, is that a thing that I have to do? She's like, yes, of course you have to bring a gift. And it's something that I learned. So something like Joyful Co is also great for people who maybe are not the best at gift giving, to know that every gift that you send from our site is something that the recipient will love.
Thank you. Tell us how you feel businesses could leverage that same idea in order to uplift their community with joyful gifts that don't necessarily come from your business.
Yeah, I think that gift giving is very important, both for internally with your employees, with your clients, to help build that connection. Because especially as we're living in an increasingly physically disconnected world, there's a lot of remote workplaces. A lot of times you're talking with employees or clients over the phone, over Zoom, over video chat. It helps to have that physical manifestation of something, or even an experience that you can gift. And so if you're sending it, I would say we do it in a couple different stages, whether you're doing it on your own or with us. The best gifts to send someone are personalized, that's related to a conversation that you had, their interests, something that they'll specifically enjoy, because everyone's very individual. The next kind of level of gift is something that is going to be related to something that they like, right? If they like food, or they like their home and decorating their home, and sending a really nice item that aligns with that, but it should be high quality and something that they'll actually use and not generic. And the worst gift that you can send are just like the coasters with your company's logo on it that's really generic, that feels like a gift that's easy to throw away, that doesn't fit within their lifestyle. And that's a lot of times where we see companies doing. They're like, oh, let's just get some generic, items like a phone charger. Everyone needs a phone charger, right? And like sending those generic gifts to people. And so that's usually where we see gifts can actually hurt, when a person receiving it is like, oh, you don't really know me at all, because this isn't something that I would actually like and use. And so for any company who's looking at gifting, I would use that 3-step process to think through like how you're currently giving gifts.
Thank you. What about if you're in a scenario where you don't know an employee, or you don't know the person you want to gift something to at all? And I think you could, let's say if you were to gift them grateful box, and in that grateful box there was, some jam that they totally dislike. Okay. So like, how do you kind of go around that to make sure that you're choosing stuff that, there's no way to really know if they will like it? How do you kind of like err on the side of caution and still gift someone a thoughtful gift, and making sure that you have given them the impression that first, you do deeply care about them, you want to know more about them, you want to give them something they will like, and you're not like upsetting them by gifting them something that they are actually allergic to, and they totally dislike?
We are, I think, a couple different ways. And so if you're sending a gift to someone individually or a small team, I think it is important that you actually get to know them a little bit, right? Like if someone has a gluten allergy and they're a team member and you don't know that because you haven't built that relationship, then I think you need to start there to really understand, or ask them and say, hey, I'd love to send you a little token of our appreciation that might have some food items. Do you have any allergies I should be aware of when doing that, right? You don't have to tell them exactly what it is. I think on our side with the gifts as well, we choose and carefully curate products. We try, for instance, if we were bringing in a cookie, we try literally hundreds of different cookies from different companies to identify which are the best tasting, that have the best ingredients, that if you are like a cookie at all, then you will love these. And if you don't, it's worth a try. And we don't bring in mediocre products that some people will like and some won't, to make it broadly accessible to as many people as possible. For some of our corporate companies that we do, we actually offer options for employees. And so instead of just saying, hey, let's send the same gift to everyone, we will offer 2 to 3 kind of different gifts so that employees can actually select on their own which ones that they're most interested in and they would want to buy or get sent to them.
Millions of gifts are actually unwanted every year, right? So like for around Christmas and New Year's and whatever. And I wonder what you feel is going wrong there. Like, for example, in my case, my mom for, 20 years, pretty much like bought me what she liked, like these fluffy things. And I pretty much, disliked a lot of the gifts that she gave me, although I know she gave them with so much love. And, she tried so hard to kind of give me a surprise. And that's the reason why I actually am very practical, and I just prefer money, because then I can go out and I can buy, like the dress that I like, or the, earrings that I like, or whatever. And I find that it's been very rare that people have given me stuff that I actually like. Okay. And I'm not sure if that's because I'm actually fussy, or people just don't get that I just wear red. Like if you're going to gift me like a black and white, jacket, you should look at my social media, you know what I mean? So I wonder what you feel goes wrong there, where like millions of people don't actually understand perhaps the person they're gifting.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I remember I definitely understand your example. I remember when I was had a birthday in my early 20s, a friend gifted me a book on how to fold paper dollar bills into paper airplanes. And I was like, this is completely useless. Like, I would have rather you kept your money and not bought me a gift at all than to buy me something that I'm never going to use and throw away. And so I think there's a balance where it usually goes wrong is usually the gifts are too generic, where they are like simple and almost just like a throwaway. And the other side is that they're very individual and customized, but for the wrong person. Right. And as you mentioned, if someone gifts you a clothing item, that's a very much a visible symbol of your personality and something that, if you were going to wear that in the public, like other people are going to see you, it affects how you feel about yourself when you're wearing it. And I think that, that has a negative effect if someone gives you something that you would never wear. And so I think the balance comes in items that are used frequently, that are consumable, and that aren't I think in some ways like aren't a image of your like status or your personality. And so that does happen, and you won't always get it right. I think that's the thing. At the same time, with our gifts, what we like to focus on are putting together a curated collection of multiple different items. And so a box might have 4 to 8 items inside, and maybe someone likes 6 out of the 8, and the other 2 just not for them, but they can regift it to someone else or something. I think as long as it's not a complete miss, then usually it's appreciated, because there's always going to be situations where that gift won't work. And even there's been situations where I've maybe really liked something, but I already had it. Right. And so maybe I do actually like it, but I had the item and I didn't need to. And so I think you're right. It's always going to happen. But I think it also matters the intent behind the person gifting in that relationship. If you felt like they were actually listening to you and knew your preferences, or if they didn't.
Thank you. Now, imagine you're invited to someone's girlfriend's party and you don't know this person at all. Like you've never met this person. Okay. What's a good gift to give to someone that you actually don't know at all, and you have no opportunity to kind of get to know?
I do think that the first thing I would always try to do is ask, what is that person like? What are their favorite colors? If there's something that you know about them, then I think that that's important. If it's a complete unknown, I do think that's a challenge. I do think there's some items, like generally, most people like good food. Right? Like everyone on the planet has to eat. And so everyone eats food. And if you can go, there are some safer items as long as there's no allergies or dietary restrictions that they have that you might be able to gift. And so either I would say in those cases, if you absolutely have no idea who they are, then it's probably okay to either not bring a gift or bring something that's a little bit more on the common side, versus bringing something that's so specific that might upset them.
Thank you. What's a good way to make your community feel special in other ways?
Yeah, I think in looking at our customers, a lot of them want to send gifts with a story that represents them. And so part of sending a gift is the recipient, but it's also your own values and what you care about and what's important to you. And so I do think that's important to understand those two sides of the gifting relationship. And so for our gifts, as I mentioned, we make it a point to source products from underrepresented and women-owned founders, and it adds to the diversity and the storytelling behind them. And a lot of our customers really want to support small businesses and that founder in supporting them. So for instance, one of our companies that we've worked with, Steepers Only, they're a Black woman-owned tea company, and they make these wonderful products. And when we've worked with them, our last order is actually the largest order that they've ever received as a business. And so we were able to support them financially to be able to support their business while simultaneously getting their product in front of thousands of new potential customers. And that also resonates with our customers that we have that want to make a difference, that want to make an impact, because the more successful small businesses there are, the more successful communities that there are. And it really makes a big impact and being able to support and help local communities around the country.
Thank you. Tell us about the total impact you've already created with your business and with the gifts that you're providing for the businesses and the corporates and the other communities that these people support.
Yeah, so Joyful Co has been around for just over a year now, and in that time, we've been able to send out over 50,000 gifts, and with those items is almost 300,000 plus items that we've been able to buy and support from small businesses across the entire country, from coast to coast, and that's made a real impact in those businesses and those suppliers' lives. And it's something that we're continuing to do as we're growing, and then continuing to tell the stories of the founders out there to our community. So if you look in our newsletters and on Instagram, we're actually sharing the stories and behind the scenes of the products and the founders that we're including in the boxes.
Thank you. For other entrepreneurs who also want to uplift their community with their joyful gifts, how would you recommend that they package or they label their name of the potential products they may offer to their community, leveraging the products and services that they already have?
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand the impact that you want to make first. I always say you don't have, no, not every company is going to change the actual world, but it doesn't need to. And so if you look at that ladder affecting, you want to make positive change for yourself, your family, your neighbors, your community, your city, your region, your country, your state, the world, right? There's lots of different levels that you can really make that impact on. And so it's important to understand where you want to make that impact and how you want to tell that story, and finding something that aligns to you, your purpose, and your values.
That's a very interesting idea. And I'm wondering about for companies that perhaps want to use their own products in order to impact their community. So I mean, like, let's say if a company is like selling, I don't know, pens and mice, is it called mice?
Yeah, like stationery and kind of
stationery and things like that, how can they perhaps gift those things to their employees in a way that they can make them feel that that's not just like a promotional material, it's more like a thoughtful gift that can be used for themselves or for their families as well?
I actually wouldn't. If that company, I would be very specific about that. I mean, I think it's okay to share your own company's products with your employees and with the community, right? Because ideally they're good enough where they would also want to use them. But to be honest, it can come off as cheap. They come off of not really thinking about those people individually and just giving them what's on hand and what's nearby. And I think what really makes that impact is when you choose something that is thoughtful, that requires some work and effort and a little bit of going out of your way to send something to that person that they're really going to appreciate. And as I mentioned, right, if our client that has 3,000 gifts that they offer, not all of the employees are going to love every single item and all of the gifts, but we get really positive feedback because we're thoughtfully thinking about each item that's going in. We make sure the quality is really good, and it's not just gifting the company swag. They have their own program. They have hats and t-shirts and stuff that has their logos on it, but their employees don't want that every single quarter, right? It's okay if it's in their onboarding packet because they're excited about joining the company, but they don't want that to be the only thing. And so I think at that onboarding moment, yes, it's okay to give something that's representative of your company and the products that you have. But as you're growing, you really want to make an impact. You want to give something to them that they might like. And each group of employees are going to be a little different as well. Some might prefer just like a gift card. Some might prefer going to a company outing and playing golf together, right? And they actually don't want stuff. And so it's more about the experience. And so it's important to know your own company, your own culture, and what you really value.
Thank you. So how can businesses, how can they find out what their employees would prefer to receive in order to feel uplifted, in order to feel valued, and in order to feel that they are wanted at that particular workplace, and that they are appreciated, and that they have received a truly thoughtful gift?
I would ask. I think the first step is asking, surveying your employees, talking to teams, bringing it up during team meetings, and seeing what people would like. Now, not everyone's always going to give the true answer. And so sometimes it comes from a little bit of trial and error. Maybe one time in one quarter gift, the company's onboarding swag and things like that, the company's logos, and see the response. Do people love it? Do they use it? Do you never see any of it around? Then you can get insights from that. Maybe in the next quarter, you actually gift them a virtual chocolate making class and watch as they are either participating or not. If only 10% of the employees actually participate and opt in, then they're not looking for that. Then maybe the next quarter you invite them to a company, if you're all local in one area, a in-person event. And if a large majority of everyone comes there, everyone's talking about how great it is, then that's amazing. You have that as another point to say, people love these. Let's continue to do this and figure out the frequency. And then you can also send them like a Joyful Co-gift or from other companies, some type of gift options, and see how many people, what percentage redeem them, and then how people talk about them. What's the response? We get dozens of responses every time we send out our gifts for people who are really appreciative. We had one person who recently found out that they were celiac and could not have gluten, and they were, very, is a big life change for them. And they said, I felt very seen by you and the company and the team for providing an option with all gluten-free items so that I could participate and not feel left out of this experience. And that was really impactful.
Wow, I love that. Tell us where entrepreneurs can find you.
So if you're looking to buy gifts yourself or for others, check us out at joyfulco.com. You can also find our gifts on Amazon, and we're always looking for ways to help you. We have our ready to ship gifts that are available for anyone to purchase. And then we also are able to do custom curated gift boxes to fit your company's needs for gifts over 50 orders, and happy to personally work with you and be a concierge to help you deliver joy to people in your life and your employees.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.